Will you walk a little faster? Set the whiting to the snail. There's a porpoise close behind me, and he's treading on my tail. See how eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on a shingle. Will you come and join the dance? Will you, won't you? Will you, won't you? Will you join the dance? Will you, won't you? Will you, won't you? Won't you join the dance?
Oh, you wicked, wicked little thing. Really, Dinah ought to have taught you better manners. Now, don't interrupt me, Kitty. I'm going to tell you all your faults. Number 1, you squeaked twice while Dinah was washing your face this morning. Now, you can't deny it, Kitty. I heard you. Number 2, you pulled Snowdrop away by the tail just as I had set down the saucer of milk before her. Now for number 3, you unwound every bit of worsted while I wasn't looking. That's 3 faults, Kitty, and you've not been punished for any of them yet. You know I'm saving up all your punishments for Wednesday week. Suppose they saved up all my punishment. What would they do at the end of a year? I should be sent to prison, I suppose, when the day came. Kitty, dear, can you play chess? Now, don't smile, my dear. I'm asking it seriously. Because when we were playing just now, you watched just as though you understood it. And when I said check, you purred. Well, it was a very nice check, Kitty. And really, I might have won if it hadn't been for that nasty knight that came wriggling down among my pieces. Kitty, let's pretend that you're the Red Queen. You know, I think if you sat up and folded your arms, you'd look exactly like her. Now, do try. There's a dear. You're not folding your arms properly. I'll just hold you up to the looking glass, and you can see how sulky you are. And if you're not good directly, I'll put you through into Looking Glass House. How would you like that? Kitty, if you'll only attend, I'll tell you all my ideas about Looking Glass House. First, there's the room that you can see through the glass. That's just the same as our drawing room, only the things go the other way. Oh, Kitty, how nice it would be if we could get through into Looking Glass House. I'm sure it's got, oh, such beautiful things in it. Let's pretend there's a way we can get through into it somehow, Kitty. Let's pretend that the glass has got all soft, like gauze, so that we can get through. Why, it's turning into a sort of mist now. I declare, it'll be easy enough to get through. Oh, what fun it'll be when they see me in here through the glass and they can't get at me. Why, it's all in some language I don't know. Oh, it's a looking glass book, of course. And if I hold it up to the glass, the words will go the right way again. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rasped out grave. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub-jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the jabberwock with eyes of flame came whistling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fragiste, calloo, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rasped out grave. Well, it seems very pretty, but it's rather hard to understand. Somehow it seems to fill my head with ideas, only I don't know exactly what they are. However, somebody killed something. That's clear at any rate.
Oh, my ears and whiskers! The light is getting... Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear! I shall be too late!
Oh, what a lovely, lovely garden. How I should like to get out there among the bright flowers and cool fountains. Well, even if my head would go through, it would be of very little use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could shut up like a telescope. Everything is so out of the way here. I believe that I could if I only knew where to begin. Surely this was not here before. Well, it's all very well to say drink me, but I'll look first and see whether you're marked poison or not. For if a little girl drinks from a bottle marked poison, it is almost certain to disagree with her sooner or later. No, it must be all right. It has a mixed flavor of cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, toffee, and hot buttered toast. Oh my, what a curious feeling. I must be shutting up like a telescope. Oh, I am. I wonder if I'm going out altogether like a candle. Oh, the key, the key. Oh, come. Now, there's no use in you crying like this. I advise you to leave off this minute. Eat me. Well, I'll eat it. And if it makes me grow larger, I can reach the key. And if it makes me grow smaller, I can creep under the door. So either way, I'll get into the garden. Curiouser and curiouser. Oh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. A great girl like you to go on crying this way. Stop this minute, I tell you.
The Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't she be savaged if I've kept her waiting?
Please, sir. Dear, how strange everything is today. When yesterday things went on just as usual. I wonder if I've changed in the night. I almost think I remember feeling a little different. But if I'm not the same, then the next question is, who in the world am I? Well, I know I can't be Mabel, for I know all sorts of things. And Mabel, she knows such a very little. I'll try if I know all the things I used to know. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spreads his claws, and welcome little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. Oh dear, I'm sure those are not the right words. I must be Mabel after all. Why, there must not be more than 3 inches left of me. It must be the fan. That was a narrow escape. Now for the garden. Oh, the key, the key. Oh, things are worse than ever today. I declare it's too bad. That it is. I wish I hadn't cried so much. I shall be punished for it now. I suppose by being drowned in my own tears. Would it be of any use to speak to this mouse? Everything is so out of the way here that I believe very likely it can talk. At any rate, there's no harm in trying. Oh, Mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? I'm getting so tired of swimming about here. Oh, Mouse. Well, I know that must be the best way to address a mouse. I remember at school, Brother's Latin grammar said, a mouse, of a mouse, to a mouse, a mouse, a mouse. Perhaps it doesn't understand English. I dare say it's a French mouse come over with William the Conqueror. Où est ma chatte? Oh, I beg your pardon. I quite forgot you didn't like cats. Would you like cats if you were me? Well, perhaps not. Please don't be angry about it. And yet I wish you could meet our cat, Dinah. She's such a dear, quiet thing, and she's such a capital one for catching mice. Oh, I beg your pardon. We won't talk about cats anymore.
Oh, indeed. As if I would speak on such a subject. My family has always hated cats. Nasty, low, vulgar things. Don't let me hear that name again.
I won't indeed. Are you fond of dogs? There's such a nice little dog near our house. I should like to show you. A little bright-eyed terrier. It belongs to a farmer, you know, and he says that it's so useful, it's worth 100 pounds. He says it kills all the rats. Oh dear, I'm afraid I've offended it again. Mouse dear, do come back, and we won't talk about cats or dogs anymore.
Let us get to shore and I'll tell you my history and why it is is that I hate cats and dogs. This is the driest thing I know. Silence all around. William the Conqueror, whose cause was favored by the Pope, was soon submitted to by the English, who wanted leaders, and had been of late much accustomed to usurpation and conquest. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria. I beg your pardon. Did you speak?
Not I.
I thought you did. I proceed. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria, having found for him, and even Stigand, the patriotic Archbishop of Canterbury, found it advisable.
Found what?
Found it. Of course you know what it means.
I know what it means well enough, but when I find a thing, it's generally a frog or a worm. The question is, what did the Archbishop find?
Found it advisable to go with Edgar Atheling to meet William and offer him the crown. William's conduct at first was moderate, but the insolence of his Normans. How are you getting on now, my dear?
As wet as ever. Doesn't seem dry to me at all.
Then I move that the meeting adjourn for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies.
Hey, speak English. I don't know half the meaning of those long words. And what's more, I don't think you do either.
Well, what I was going to say was that the best thing to get us dry would be a caucus ring.
What is a caucus ring?
Why, the best way to explain it is to do it. The exact shape doesn't matter. Go! The race is over!
But who has won?
Everyone has won! And all of us have prizes!
But who has to give the prizes?
Why? But she was to have a prize herself, you know? Of course. What else have you got in your pocket?
Only a thimble.
Give it here. We beg your acceptance of this elegant symbol.
Promise to tell me your history, you know, and why it is you hate C's and D's.
Mine is a long and a sad tale.
Why, it is a long tale, certainly. But why do you call it sad?
Fury said to a mouse that he met in a house, "Let us both go to law. I will prosecute you. Come, there will be no denial. We must have the trial. For really this morning I had nothing to do." Said the mouse to the cur, "Such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath." "I'll be the judge and I'll be the jury," said cunning old Fury. "I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to death." You were not attending.
I beg your pardon? You had got to the 5th bend, I think.
I have not.
I'm not. Well, do let me help to undo it.
I shall do nothing of the sort.
Oh, what a pity it wouldn't stick.
I wish I had our Dinah here. I know I do. She'd soon fetch it back.
And who is Dinah? If I might venture to ask the question.
Oh, Dinah's our cat, and she's such a capital one for catching mice. You can't think. Oh, and I wish you could see her after the little bird. I shall be a little bird as soon as look at you.
I really must be going. This night air, it doesn't suit my throat.
I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah. Nobody seems to like her very much around here. But I'm sure she's the best cat in the world. Oh, my dear Dinah, I wonder if I shall ever see you anymore.
The Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, my dear paws! Oh, my fur whiskers! She'll give me ice cream, sure as ferrets are ferrets. Now, where can I drop them? Oh! Why, Marianne! What are you doing here? Right home, right this minute! Fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan! Well, quick now!
He took me for his housemaid. How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I really am. At any rate, I'd better fetch him his fan and gloves. That is, if I can find them. several times since then.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
I can't explain myself, I'm afraid, sir, because I'm not myself, you see.
I don't see.
Well, I'm afraid I can't put it any more clearly, for I don't understand it myself to begin with, and being so many different sizes in a day is very confusing.
It isn't.
Well, perhaps you haven't found it so yet, but when you turn into a chrysalis, you will someday, you know, and then into a butterfly, I should think you'll feel a little strange, won't you?
Not a bit.
Well, perhaps your feelings may be different. All I know is you'll feel very strange to me.
You? Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why? Come back. I've something important to say. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you're changed, do you?
I'm afraid I am, sir. I don't remember things as I used, and I can't keep the same size for 10 minutes together.
Can't remember what thing?
Well, I tried to say how doth the little busy bee, but it all came different.
Repeat. You are old, Father William.
You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white. But yet you incessantly stand on your head? Do you think at your age it is right? In my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it would injure the brain. But now that I'm perfectly sure I have none, why I do it again and again. You are old, said the youth, and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finished the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, said his father, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife, and the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life.
That is not said right.
Well, not quite right, I'm afraid. Some of the words have got altered.
It is wrong from beginning to end. What size do you want to be?
Well, I'm not particular as to size, only one doesn't like changing so often, you know.
I don't know. Are you content now?
Well, I should like to be a little larger, sir, if you wouldn't mind. 3 inches is such a wretched height to be.
It is a very good height. Indeed.
But I'm not used to it.
You'll get used to it. One side will make you grow taller, and the other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
Now, which is which?
For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
From the Queen, an invitation for the Duchess to play croquet. There's no use in your knocking, and that's for 2 reasons. First, I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Secondly, they're making such a noise inside that no one could possibly hear you.
Please, then, how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in your knocking if there were a door between us. For instance, if you were on the inside, you could knock, and I could let you out, you know.
But how am I to get in?
I shall sit here until tomorrow, or the next day, maybe.
But how am I to get in?
Are you to get in at all? That's the first question, you know.
It's really dreadful the way these creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
I shall sit here for days and days.
Well, what am I to do?
Anything you like.
Oh, there's no use in talking to her. She's perfectly idiotic. Oh, there's certainly too much pepper in that soup. Achoo! Would you tell me, please, why your cat grins like that?
Why, it's a Cheshire cat, and that's why.
I didn't know Cheshire cats always grin. In fact, I didn't know cats could grin.
Why, they all can, and most of them do.
I don't know of any that do.
Well, you don't know much, and that's a fact.
Please mind what you're doing. There goes his precious.
If everybody minded their own business, the world would go around a deal faster than it does.
Which would not be an advantage. Just think what work it would make with the day and the night. The Earth takes 24 hours to turn on its axis, you know.
Axis! Talking of axis, chop off her head.
24 hours, I think. Or is it 12?
Oh, don't bother me. I never could abide figures. Speak roughly to your little boy. Feed him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases. Wow, 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 wow. I speak so clearly to my boy and feed him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases. Wow, 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 wow. Try and nurse him a bit if you like. I must go and get ready to play croquet with the queen.
If I don't take this child with me, they'll surely kill it in a day or two. Wouldn't it be murder to leave it behind? Don't grunt. That's not at all the proper way of expressing yourself. Now, if you're going to turn into a pig, my dear, I'll have nothing more to do with you. What am I going to do with this creature when I get it home? If it had grown up, it would have been a dreadfully ugly child. But it makes a rather handsome pig, I think. Cheshire Puss, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to walk from here?
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
I don't care much where.
Then it doesn't matter which way you walk.
So long as I get somewhere.
You're sure to get there if only you walk long enough.
What sort of people live about here?
To the right lives a hatter, to the left lives a March hare. Isn't it you like? They're both mad.
Oh, I don't want to go among mad people.
You can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad.
How do you know that I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here. Do you play croquet with the queen today?
I should like to very much. Only I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there. By the by, I came with a baby. I'd nearly forgotten to ask.
It turned into a pig.
I thought it would. Did you say pig or fig?
I said pig, and I do wish you wouldn't keep vanishing and appearing so suddenly. It makes one quite giddy.
All right.
Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin, but a grin without a cat? It's the most curious thing I ever saw in all my life. I've seen hatters before, and the March hare will be much the most interesting. And perhaps, as this is May, it won't be raving mad. At least, not as mad as it was in March. It must be very uncomfortable for the dormouse. Only as it's asleep, I suppose it doesn't mind.
No room! No room!
Plenty of room.
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any wine.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table. It played for a great many more than 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Why? Is a raven like a writing desk?
Oh, come. We shall have some fun now. I'm glad they've begun asking riddles. I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean you think you could find out the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then why don't you say what you mean?
I do. At least I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing a bit. Why, you might just as well say that I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see.
Or you might as well say, I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like.
Or you might just as well say, I breathe and I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
Oh, it is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
Before.
2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best butter.
Yes, but some crumbs must have gotten in as well. You should not have put it in with a bread knife.
It was the best butter.
What a funny watch. It tells the days of the month, but it doesn't tell what o'clock it is.
Why should it? Does your watch tell what year it is?
Of course not. But that's because it stays the same year for such a long time together.
Which is just the case with mine.
I don't understand.
Oh, that dormouse is asleep again.
Of course, just as I was going to remark myself.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No. I give it up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Nor I.
I think you might find something better to do with the time than wasting it and asking riddles that have no answer.
It. If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him.
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you don't. Well, I dare say you've never even spoken to time.
Perhaps not. But I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
Ah, that accounts for it. He won't stand for beating. Now, if you only kept on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you'd like with the clocks. For instance, suppose it were 9 o'clock in the morning. Just time to begin lessons. You'd only have to whisper a hint to time, and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30. Time for dinner.
I only wish it was.
That would be grand, certainly. But then I shouldn't be hungry for it, you know.
Well, not at first, perhaps. But you could keep it to 1:30 for as long as you liked.
Is that the way you manage?
Not I. We quarreled last March, just before he went mad, you know. It was at the grand concert given by the Queen of Hearts. I had to sing, "Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at." You know the song, perhaps?
I've heard something like it.
Oh, it goes on, you know, in this way. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle.
Twinkle, 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 twinkle.
Well, I'd hardly finished the first verse.
Twinkle, 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 twinkle.
I'd hardly finished the first verse. I'd hardly finished the first verse. When the Queen bawls out, "He's measuring the time off with his head."
How dreadfully savage.
And ever since then, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
Oh, is that the reason so many tea things are put out here?
Yes, that's it. It's always tea time, and we've no time to wash the things between whiles.
Then you keep moving around, I suppose.
Exactly so, as the things get used up.
Well, when you come to the beginning again?
I'm tired of talking about this. Suppose we change the subject. I wrote The Young Lady Tells Us a Story.
I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the Dormouse shall. Wake up, Dormouse.
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you balls were saying.
Tell us a story.
Yes, please do.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep before it's done.
Well, once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters. Their names were Elsie, Lazy, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
What did they live on?
Oh. They lived on treacle.
They couldn't have, you know. They'd have been ill.
So they were. Very ill.
But why did they live at the bottom of a well?
Take some more tea.
I've had nothing yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Who's making personal remarks now?
Why did they live at the bottom of a well?
It was a treacle well.
There's no such thing.
If you can't be civil about it, you'd better finish the story yourself.
No, please go on. I won't interrupt anymore. I dare say there may be one.
One
three little sisters, they were learning to draw, you know.
What did they draw?
Treacle.
I want a clean cup. Let's all move one place on.
But I don't understand. Where did they draw the treacle from?
Well, you can draw water out of a water well, so I should suppose you can draw treacle out of a treacle well. Eh, stupid?
But they were in the well.
Of course they were. Well, in. And these three little sisters, they drew all manner of things. Everything that begins with an M.
Why with an M?
Why not?
With an M, such as memory, moon, magic, and muchness. You know you say things are much of a muchness. Have you ever seen such a thing as a drawing of a muchness?
Really, now that you ask me, I don't think...
Well, then you shouldn't talk.
I'll never go there again. It's the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life.
Look out now, Five. Don't go splashing paint all over me like that. I couldn't help it. Mine's on my elbow. That's right, Five. Always lay the blame on others. Oh, you better not talk. I heard the Queen say only yesterday. You deserve to be beheaded. What for? That's none of your business. It is his business, and I'll tell him. It's for bringing the cooked tulip roots instead of onions. Of all the unjust things.
Would you tell me, please, why you're painting those roses?
Well, you see, this here ought to have been a red rose bush, but we put in a white one by mistake. And if the Queen found out, we'd all have our heads cut off. The Queen! The Queen!
Why, they're only a pack of cards. I needn't be afraid of them.
And who are these?
How should I know? It's no business of mine.
Off with her head! Off with it!
Keep in mind, dear, she is only a child.
Get to your knees. Get up. Oh, leave off that. You make me giddy. What's been going on here?
If you please, Your Majesty.
I see. Off with their heads. Can you play croquet?
Yes.
Come on, then. It's a fine day.
Very. Where's the Duchess?
Oh, hush! She's under sentence of execution. What for? Did you say what a pity?
No, I don't think it's at all a pity. I said what for.
She boxed the Queen's ears! Oh, hush! The Queen will hear you. You see, she came rather late, and the Queen said... Get to your places! Off with his head! Off with her head! Off with their head!
The executions have been canceled.
Oh, you can't think how glad I am to see you again, you dear old thing. Well, you're thinking about something, my dear, and that makes you forget to talk. I can't tell just now what the moral of that is, but I shall remember it in a moment.
Perhaps it hasn't one.
Oh, tut-tut, child, everything's got a moral if you can find it.
The game's going rather better now.
Oh, 'tis so. And the moral of that is, 'tis love that makes the world go round.
Somebody said it's done by everybody minding their own business.
Oh, well, it means much the same thing. And the moral of that is, take care of the sense, and sounds will take care of themselves.
How fond she is of finding morals in things.
I dare say you're wondering why I don't put my arm around your waist. Oh, well, the reason is that I'm rather doubtful about the temper of your flamingo. Shall I try the experiment?
It might bite.
Oh, quite so. Flamingos and mustard both bite. And the moral of that is, birds of a feather flock together.
But mustard isn't a bird.
Oh, right as usual. What a clear way you have of putting things.
It's a mineral, I think.
Of course it is. There's a large mustard mine near here. And the moral of that is, the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours.
Oh, I know what it is. It's a vegetable. It doesn't look like one, but it is.
I quite agree with you. And the moral of that is, be what you would seem to be. Or, if you'd like it put more simply, never imagine yourself to be otherwise than what it might appear to others that what you were or might have been was not otherwise than what you had been would have appeared to them to be otherwise.
I might understand that if I had it on paper, but I don't follow it as you say it.
Oh, that's nothing to what I could say if I chose.
Pray don't trouble to say it any longer than that.
Oh, don't talk about trouble. I make you a present of everything I've said as yet. And the moral of that is, oh, a fine day, Your Majesty.
Now I give you fair warning. Either you or your head must be off, and that in about half no time. Take your choice. Have you seen the mock turtle yet?
I don't even know what a mock turtle is.
Why, it's a thing mock turtle soup's made from.
I've never seen nor heard of
Well,
one.
come on then, he shall tell you his history. Griffin! Griffin! Up, lazy thing, and take this young lady to see the mock turtle and to hear his history. I have some executions I must go and attend to.
What fun!
What's the fun?
Why, she. It's all her fancy that, you know. They never executes nobody. Come on.
I was never so ordered about in all my life. Never. What is his sorrow?
It's all his fancy that. He ain't got no sorrow, you know. Come on. This here young lady, she wants for to know your history, she do.
I'll tell it her. Sit down, both of you. Don't speak a word till I've finished. Once I was a real turtle. When we were little, we went to school in the sea. The master was an old turtle. We used to call him Tortoise.
Why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
We called him Tortoise because he taught us. Really, you are very dull.
You want to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question. Drive on, old fellow, and don't be all day about it.
Yes, we went to school in the sea, though you mayn't believe it.
I never said I didn't.
You did.
Hold your tongue.
We had the best of educations. In fact, we went to school every day.
I went to day school too, you know. You needn't be so proud as all that.
With extras.
Yes, French and music.
And washing?
Certainly not.
Ha! Then yours wasn't a really good school. Now at ours, they had at the end of the bill, French, music, and washing extra.
You couldn't have wanted it much living at the bottom of the sea.
I couldn't afford to learn it. I only took the regular course.
What was that?
Reeling and writhing, of course, to begin with. And then the different branches of arithmetic. Ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision.
I've never heard of uglification. What is it?
Never heard of uglification? Well, you know what to beautify is, I suppose.
It means to make anything prettier.
Well, then if you don't know what to uglify is, you are a simpleton.
And how many hours a day did you do lessons?
10 hours the first day, 9 the next, and so on.
What a curious plan.
That's the reason they're called lessons. Because they lesson from day to day.
The 11th day must have been a holiday.
Of course it was.
But how did you manage on the 12th?
That's enough about lessons.
Tell her something about the games now.
Oh.
Same as if he had a ball in his throat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You may not have lived much under the sea.
I haven't.
And perhaps you've never been introduced to a lobster.
Oh, I once tasted. No, never.
So you have no idea what a delightful thing a lobster quadrille is.
No, indeed. What sort of a dance is it?
Would you like to see a little of it?
Very much indeed.
Come. We'll try the first figure. We can do without the lobsters. Which shall sing?
Oh, you sing. I've forgotten the words.
Will you walk a little faster? Set the whiting to the snail. There's a porpoise close behind me, and he's treading on my tail. See how eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on a shingle. Will you come and join the dance? Will you, won't you? Will you, won't you? Will you join the dance? Will you, won't you? Will you, won't you? Won't you join the dance? You can really have no notion how delightful it will be when they take us up and throw us with the lobsters out to sea. But the snail replied, too far, and gave a look askance. Said he thanked the whiting kindly, but he would not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not, would not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not, could not join the dance.
Oh, thank you. It's a very interesting dance to watch. And I do so like that curious song about the whiting.
Oh, as to the whiting, you've seen them, of course.
Oh, yes. I've often seen them at dinner.
Oh, I don't know where it did, maybe, but if you've seen them so often, then, of course, you know what they look like.
Do you know why they're called whiting?
No, I never thought about it. Why?
It does boots and shoes.
Does boots and shoes?
Why, what are your shoes done with?
With blacking, I believe.
Boots and shoes under the sea are done with whiting. Now you know.
But what are they made of?
Soles and eels, of course. Any shrimp could have told you that.
If I'd been the whiting in this song, I'd have said to the porpoise, keep back, please. We don't want you with us.
Oh, they were obliged to have him with them. Why, no wise fish would go anywhere without a porpoise.
Wouldn't it really?
Of course not. Why, if a fish came to me and told me he was going on a journey, I'd say, with what porpoise?
Don't you mean purpose?
I mean what I say.
Shall we try another figure of the lobster quadrille? Or would you like the mock turtle to sing you another song?
Oh, a song, please, if the mock turtle would be so kind.
No accounting for taste. Oh, all right, old fellow. Sing her turtle soup.
Beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen. Who for such dainties would not stoop? Soup of the evening, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soup. Who cares for fish, game, or any other dish? Who would not give all else for 2 pennyworth? Only a beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful
Sons in the court!
Young lady, just look down that road and tell me who you see.
I see nobody on the road.
I only wish I had such eyes, to see nobody at all, and at the distance, too. Why, it's all I can do to see real people by this light.
I see somebody now, but he comes rather slowly. What curious attitude he goes into.
Not at all. He's an Anglo-Saxon messenger, and those are Anglo-Saxon attitudes. He does them when he's happy. His name is Hea.
I love my love with an H because he's happy. I hate him with an H because he's hideous. I feed him ham sandwiches and hay. His name is Hea, and he lives on
He lives on the hill. The other one's name is Hatter. I have to have two, you know. One to come and one to go.
I beg your pardon?
It isn't respectable to beg. This young lady loves you with an H. You startle me. I feel faint. Give me a ham sandwich. Another.
There's nothing left but hay now.
Well, give me hay then. There's nothing like eating hay when you're faint.
I should think throwing cold water over you would be better.
I didn't say there's nothing better. I said there's nothing like it. Who did you pass on the road?
Nobody.
Quite right. This young lady saw him too. So of course nobody walks slower than you. Now then, now that you've caught your breath, you may tell me what they're saying in the town.
I'll whisper it. The trial began!
You call that a whisper? If you do such a thing again, I'll have you buttered. Ran through my head like an earthquake. Step down. Harold, read the accusation.
The Queen of Hearts! She made some tarts! All on a summer's day! The knave of hearts! He stole those tarts! And took them quite away!
Let the jury consider their verdict.
Not yet, not yet! There's a great deal more to come before that!
Oh, call the first witness.
First witness!
I beg pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing these in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
You ought to have finished. Well, when did you begin?
14th of March, I believe it was.
15th.
16!
Write that down. Take off your hat.
Oh, it isn't mine.
Stole it.
No. I've none of my own. I keep them to sell. I'm a hatter.
Very well, then. Give your evidence. And don't be nervous about it, or I'll have you executed on the spot.
Bring me a list of the singers in the last concert.
Give your evidence, or I'll have you executed whether you're nervous or not.
I'm a poor man, Your Majesty. I had but just begun my tea, not about a week or so ago, and what with the bread and the butter getting so thin, and the twinkling of the tea.
The twinkling of what?
It began with the tea.
Of course twinkling begins with a T. What do you take me for, dunce? If that's all you know, you may stand down.
Lord, I'm on the floor as 'tis.
May sit down.
I gotta finish my tea.
You may go.
Take his head out there.
Let the jury consider their verdict.
There's more evidence to come yet, please, Your Majesty. This has just been picked up. It's a set of verses.
Are they in the prisoner's handwriting?
No, they're not! And that's the strangest event!
He must have imitated someone else's hand.
What do you do, Majesty? I didn't write it. And then you can't prove it. There's no signature at the end.
If you didn't sign it, then that's very bad indeed. For you must have meant some mischief, or you signed your own name like an honest man.
That proves it. You prove nothing of that sort. Why, you don't even know what they're about.
Read them.
Where shall I begin, please, Your Majesty?
Begin at the beginning, and go on till you come to the end. Then stop.
Begged her and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim. He said the word I had, and I found me know it to be true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you? I gave her one, they gave it to you, gave us 3 or more. And I returned from him to you, though they were mine before. I gave her one, they gave it to you, gave us 3 or more. And I returned from him to you, though they were mine before. Why, if she should chance to be involved in this affair, trust you to set us free exactly as we were. Trust you to set us free exactly as we were. The notion was that you had met before she had the spit. Not the school that came between him and herself and it. Not the school that came between him and herself and it. Don't let him know she liked him best, for this must ever be. The secret kept from all the rest between yourself and me. The secret kept from all the rest between yourself and me.
That's the most important piece of evidence we've heard yet. So now let the jury consider their...
I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
She does.
saves us a lot of trouble, seeing as how we need to try to find any. And yet, I'm not sure. I seem to see some meaning in them after all. You said I could not swim. Well, you can't swim, can you?
Do I look like it?
All right so far. We know them to be true. Like, that's the jury. I gave him one, I gave them two. Well, that must be what you do with the tarts.
But it goes on. They all return from him to you.
But there they are. Nothing could be clearer than that. And yet, I don't know. Before she had these fits, you never had fits before, my dear.
Never.
Well, then it doesn't fit you. It's a pun. What do you know of this business?
Nothing.
Nothing whatever?
Nothing whatever.
That's very important.
Unimportant, Your Majesty, means, of course.
Unimportant? Important? Imp up? Imp up? Imp up. Unimportant to be sure. So now, let the jury consider their verdict.
No, sentence first, verdict afterwards.
Stuff and nonsense. The idea of having a sentence first.
Hold your tongue.
I won't. Off with her head.
Off with their head, 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 off with their head.
I'll try that when I go home. The next time I'm a little late for dinner.
It's time for you to answer now. Open your mouth a little wider when you speak and always say, Your Majesty.
I only wanted to see what the garden was like, Your Majesty.
That's right. Though when you say garden, I've seen gardens compared with which you'd call this a wilderness.
And I thought I might try to find my way to the top of that hill.
Though when you say hill, I could show you hills in comparison with which you'd call that a valley.
No, I shouldn't. A hill can't be a valley, you know. That would be nonsense.
You may call it nonsense if you like, but I've heard nonsense compared with which that would be as sensible as a dictionary.
I declare, it's marked out just like a large chessboard. It's a great huge game of chess that's being played all over the world. If this is the world at all, you know. Oh, what fun it is. How I should like to be a part of it. I wouldn't mind being a pawn if only I might join, but I should like to be a queen best.
That's easily managed. You can be the white queen's pawn if you like, as Lily's too young to play. And you're in the second square to begin with. And when you reach the 8th square, you'll be a queen. Faster, faster.
I wonder if all the things move along with us.
Don't try to talk. Faster, faster.
Are we nearly there?
Nearly there. We passed it 10 minutes ago. Now, faster, faster. You may rest a little now.
Well, we've been next to this tree the whole time. Everything's just as it was.
Of course it is. What would you have it?
Well, in our country, you generally get somewhere if you ran very fast, as we just did.
A slow sort of country. Now here, you see, it takes all the running you can do just to stay in the same place. If you want to get somewhere else, you'll have to run at least twice as fast as that.
Oh, I'd rather not try, please. I'm quite content to stay here. Only I am so hot and thirsty.
I know what you'd like. Have a biscuit. And while you're refreshing yourself, I'll just take the measurements. At the end of 2 yards, I shall give you your directions. Have another biscuit.
No, thank you. One's quite enough.
Thirst quenched, I hope. At the end of 3, I shall repeat them for fear of your forgetting them. At the end of 4, I shall say goodbye. And at the end of 5, I shall go. A pawn goes 2 squares in its first move, so you'll go very quickly through the 3rd square, by railway, I should think, and you'll find yourself in the 4th square in no time. Now that square belongs to Tweedledum. The 5th is mostly water, and the 6th belongs to Humpty Dumpty. But you make no remark.
I didn't know I had to make one just then.
You should have said it's extremely kind of you to tell me all of this. However, we'll suppose it's said. Now, the 7th square is all forest, but one of the knights will show you the way. And in the 8th square, we shall be queens together, and it's all feasting and fun. Speak in French when you can't remember the English for things. Turn out your toes when you walk, and remember who you are.
She can run very fast.
Bye!
Tickets, please. No, then. Show your ticket, child.
Don't keep him waiting, child. Why, his time is worth 1,000 pounds a minute.
I'm afraid I haven't got one. There wasn't a ticket office where I came from.
There wasn't room for a ticket office where she came from. Why, the land alone
It's worth 1,000 pounds an inch.
Make no excuses. You should have borrowed from the engine driver.
You know, the man who was selling the tickets. Why, the smoke alone is worth 1,000 pounds a puff.
And there's no use in speaking.
Better say nothing at all. Language is worth
1,000 pounds a word.
I shall dream about 1,000 pounds tonight. I know I shall.
You're traveling the wrong way.
So young a child really ought to know where she's going, even if she doesn't know her own name.
She ought to know her own alphabet, even if she doesn't know her own name and the directions.
She'll have to go back from here as luggage.
Change engines!
It's only a brook we have to jump over.
However, it'll take us into the 4th square.